This is Mason.
Jameson,
He scores! He scores! Woo!
Here in the 315, we love Lex.
It's Memorial Day. I've done it again.
It's time for the Syracuse Lacrosse post-game show. Here's Brian.
Oh, that's the sound of me bumbling my mic around at 10:30 at night. What even just happened? I'd like to say I watched the game. I didn't. I listened. It was a visual picture. Tim and Kyle out. Exactly. We're not paying for wacky one-off streaming services, even though this is an actual television. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're listening. We're listening for the woos. The woos were a little muted at altitude. But a nutty fourth quarter that sees the Orange nearly blow what was a 5-goal lead and ended up hanging on to Denver, who had some chances, some serious chances late to tie the game in the last seconds. 13-12, the Orange win. 6-game road trip is over. They lost the first two, season teetering. Win 4 in a row, head back home. Exactly, back in the bike with aplomb, ready to roll, and all is good for the Orange today. Because you go out there, altitude, whatever, you win both games. Just take it, and go home. That's right. It is brought to you by LL Bean Minty Green Quarter Sips. Here, we're not going to make it to St. Patrick's Day with this post-game show. That would be a ridiculously long post-game show. That would be unnecessary in its length for the post-game show. But we had to do a little St. Patty's Day green here because we don't have a show tomorrow. So how would you know if I was wearing green without a show tomorrow? So that's the thing. It was on TV, Brian Bixby. It was just not on TV here. If you lived in Denver and you could watch Altitude, which is like the Yes Network of Denver, then you could watch the game. I live here. So, my goodness, that was that game was like normal game. Syracuse played really well in the third quarter. Fourth quarter, just insanity, pandemonium, 87 flags, a brawl at the end. I mean, that penalty by Angelo, there was a lot. We'll get into it all. We gotta start here with our Thompson Road Tavern opening menu. Go there tomorrow for lunch. It's 10:30 at night. Let them be right now. I think they might be open for like another half hour or so. What do you got going on tomorrow? It's a Taco Tuesday tomorrow at the Thompson Road Tavern. You can get $3 tacos, chicken or beef. You can get a $9 taco salad, or you can do a little $4 taco if you want to go a carne asada. It was a bad broadcast. I feel validated in not paying for it. I got Tim and Kyle. We turned on the Woo Fest. We got it on the app. We had it on the phone, listened on the app. We were doing other stuff on the computer. It worked out very well here at the spacious basement studios here. So here we go. Thompson Road Tavern opening menu. As you can see, the link is pinned top of the chat if you'd like to place a call in here to this. I'm going to imagine we're not going to get Gary Games post-game presser live on this one, but we'll take a looky-loo later on to see if any Gary is out and about, and we'll break down this wacky game. But we'll see how long we go. I don't know what the appetite for length of this show is, but we'll see. And as you can see, the poll is pinned top of the chat for our Wildbirds Unlimited Big Air Player of the Game, and for the first time in a very, very long time in the Wildbirds Unlimited Big Air Player of the Game poll, all 4 options are actual players of the sport of the game that just happened. John Mullen, Luke Roa, Finn Thompson, Peyton Anderson. Luke Roa, no wrong answers. Comes up big with a 4-goal game. Finn Thompson, no wrong answers. He was featured, 2 goals and 2 assists. Billy Dwan, not pictured there, no wrong answers. Had a 40-yard goal against the 10-man ride. As always, no wrong answers. Is always correct. Was Kyle F. well-behaved? I'd say by Kyle's standards, he was very well-behaved, dispatching the Wheeze for Kyle. We did miss one Kyle Woo because he had to go to the bathroom at some point, and the combination of a sold-out stadium and altitude, he was delayed in his return, so Tim called a goal, and I'm like, oh, wait, and it was like the craziest goal of the game, and then there was no Woo. So Tim had to explain that there was no Woo, as he knew, as we all knew, that without a Woo, I was wondering for the health and well-being of one Kyle Federley, but he's quite all right, and everyone will be headed back home after the game here. Apparently, there's a direct flight they're taking back from Denver, not a charter, direct to Hancock. So I learned a lot of travel things about the Midwest during this broadcast as well. The great travel historian, one Kyle Federley. There we are, Thompson Road Tavern. Opening menu here today. Yeah, did TV explain what happened after that goal? Does anybody know what happened after that crazy goal on the so Syracuse was up, they're up 5, right? Where's hang on. Where do we get? Where am I looking? Okay, so Syracuse was up, where are the goals? Scoring plays. Yeah, all scoring plays. Syracuse was up 12-7 at the end of the third quarter. Like Syracuse third quarter, like first half, tight, back and forth, tight. Third quarter was like Syracuse dominated the third quarter, played really well in the third quarter. I could make an easy argument that the third quarter was shortlist, one of their best quarters of the season. They get up 5, get to the fourth quarter, give up this crazy, you commit a penalty, and then it ends up being a full serve. Then there's they score the goal, but like the refs are signaling it weird, and the Orange somehow give up the second goal without giving up a faceoff. They gave up, long story short, the Orange, whose man-down defense to that point had been unbelievable, including killing an entire 2-minute penalty in the first half, ends up giving up 3 goals on a 1-minute non-releasable penalty in the span of 33 seconds to turn what was a 5-goal game that was damn near over into a 2-goal game with 13 and a half minutes left. Then Spolina got a very nice goal, his only goal of the day, his 288th career point now, as he is currently ahead, and will remain ahead, they're not going to catch up, of both Ryan and Casey Powell, 19 points behind Mike Powell on the Orange all-time scoring list, the record that presumably will come before April is out, probably when April is barely in. Then Denver gets a goal with 10-12 left, then between 10-12 left and 3:44 left when Denver scored to cut it to 1. I believe the official number was there were 78 penalties called combined on both teams. It was just man up, Syracuse's man up, 2-minute penalty, unreleasable, this penalty, that penalty. Like the whole time, like Syracuse's man up, and then they're not. Then there's a turnover. Like that 6 minutes of the game was like, don't send that 6 minutes of the game to the Hall of Fame. That 6 minutes of the game was an absolute mess. An absolute mess in which Syracuse, who had put away the game, gave away the game, could have re-put away the game, didn't re-put away the game, and then had to survive the wild scramble the last few seconds. But survive they did. I don't know if I can ever think of a game like this. Both teams in this game, not one, both teams in this game had a 2-minute non-releasable man up. Both teams had one, and neither team scored on it. Both teams in this game had a 2-minute non-releasable man-up penalty, and neither team scored on it. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Was there an explanation of why Denver got the ball without a face-off? No. No. Orange Platypus 23, whose picture looks distinctly like Mike McAllister. No, there was not. Kyle and Tim were baffled by it. Kyle doesn't unbaffle easily once baffled without an explanation. I guarantee you Kyle's going to bring that up on another broadcast in like May. Kyle's going to remain baffled by that for a long, long time. The whole flight home with the team today, Kyle will remain baffled by it. He's wherever he is right now, I guarantee you he's currently being baffled by it. That's you, Mike McAllister. Mike McAllister is Orange Platypus 23. Unlike the other guy that sometimes watches the show, whose name is Mike McAllister, which is not Mike McAllister. Crazy times here on this internet. What were the total penalties here? Again, link pinned top of the chat if you'd like to join the show. Total penalties in the game were just all of them. The Orange committed 7 penalties for 7 minutes. Denver committed 5 penalties for 5 minutes, and then when the game ended, there was damn near a benches clearing brawl. Oh man. Yeah, and the refs, and again, I wasn't watching, I was listening, and Kyle, as we know, is always fair, even-handed and fair with the referees. Here's the thing. Denver is a massive lacrosse market. Like, indoor, outdoor, like, lacrosse is very big in Denver. That said, Denver is completely separated, essentially, from the rest of the college lacrosse community. So, because of that, they do not have a very large community of refs to pick from because they ain't flying them across the country. So, you're just not going to have necessarily great ref games at Denver. Is that what they did it for, Robert Curtis? Well, here's the thing. The way Tim and Kyle explained what was happening on the radio, they said, all right, the penalty happens. They called it a full serve. I am giving you the signal for full serve. You can also walk like an Egyptian. Signal for the full serve penalty. I don't know if it was actually a brawl. I think it was approaching a brawl and then short-circuited before a brawl. Yeah, I don't know about the Eagles fans, but McAllister can stay. He's cool. But so they gave the signal for that. But then after the goal was scored, they signaled as if the penalty was wiped off. So the refs signaled as if the penalty was wiped off. Incorrectly, they signaled as if the penalty was wiped off. But the refs signaled it. And because they did that, the Syracuse player leaves the penalty box and whatever. Like, if the refs give an incorrect signal, why is it on Syracuse to have to remember what they should have been doing? Like, that should have been like, oops, my bad, go back there, whatever. Instead, they gave Denver the ball. Like, Gary's losing his damn mind, and Gary's not a lose his damn mind guy. They come right down the field and score, and then Syracuse a man down, face off, they lose it. Denver comes right down the field and score again, and suddenly what was a 5-goal game is a 2-goal game. So, like, technically, Robert, what you're saying, like, if Syracuse had done that without the refs signaling that the penalty was released that shouldn't have been released, then absolutely that is what should have happened. But I'll put it this way, from the way Tim and Kyle explained it, and from the way Gary and the rest of the Orange assistants were reacting, they signaled the full serve penalty, Denver scored the goal, then they waved off the penalty after the goal, which is what you do on a non-full serve penalty, and you release everything, so Syracuse went about their business as if the penalty was over. It wasn't. So the whole thing just got crazy compounded. But Syracuse made it through. They came out. It was. It felt like something that can only happen at a Syracuse lacrosse game. Oh man, always wacky, always entertaining. A 13-12 win. It went from ho hum, Syracuse up 5 at the end of the third to hang on to something by the end of the game. But here we are now. What are we sitting? We're sitting halfway through March. St. Patty's Day in the morning. Leprechauns out and about, and the Orange are 8-2. The Orange here are sitting 8-2, and an intriguing game Sunday against Georgetown. Georgetown's pretty good. The last game of John Desko's career was against Georgetown. That game didn't go. The game didn't go well. I believe you, Robert Kurt. Like, here's what makes sense. Like, if the refs had been refereeing competently at that point, Robert, that makes sense. Like, what you're saying makes sense. I just think the refs, like, got lost in the sauce on their signaling, which, like, they confused Syracuse, and then because they confused Syracuse, they punished Syracuse for having confused Syracuse. If I'm guessing what happened correctly. So, I mean, in the end, it didn't really, it didn't matter, but it certainly made the game wildly entertaining down the straight. Yes, Georgetown is good. I don't know their exact record off the top of my head. Higgs Family Real Estate, Whitby, with locations in Washington and Iowa. But, yes, they do play on Sunday. The game is at noon? Is that a nooner on Sunday? We're doing a post game for it. Is it 1? Might be a 1 o'clock game. The game's on Sunday. I don't know Georgetown's record. They're top 10 team. They're good. Georgetown's good. That'll be a physical game. That will be a physical game with the Hoyas, as it always is. That's a good game. And then, where do I have? I must have the Orange schedule in one of these 80 million tabs. This is their 2002 schedule, the last time they were out in Denver. That's less useful now. They won the national title that year, though, and they won both games in Denver against Air Force in Denver that year, and then John Desko swore never to go there again, and this is Syracuse's first time back. So, looking at the schedule here, 6 straight on the road, just completed. A tough game with Georgetown on Sunday, so now you're at altitude for a week. You're flying back from altitude. The semester, well, not the semester, spring break ended. Classes did restart today. The guy's not in attendance. I don't know what time they're getting back tomorrow. Direct flight from Denver, so I learned from Kyle on the broadcast. Georgetown Sunday at 1 o'clock, so our post-game show 3-ish, 3:30, and then you're ripping right into ACC play. Then you got Duke in the Dome. Then you got Carolina on the road. Then you got Virginia in the Dome. Colgate sneaks in there in the Dome, and then you're at Arlada to take on Notre Dame, who's currently number 1. Like, the schedule, it doesn't, you just finished a 6-game road trip in which you went 4-2, and the schedule just remains accelerator down to the finish line. It is something. Syracuse 94, Georgetown 2. Why'd you let Georgetown score, Mike? It's ridiculous is what it is. 96-0. I don't like it. Wonder if a week at altitude will help them for the rest of the season. I don't know. Does this count? Like people like Olympians, like Winter Olympians, often there's a lot of people, they go to Colorado Springs. There's a lot of United States Olympic training facilities for there, so Olympians, like especially endurance athletes, can train at high altitude, runners, cross-country skiers, etc., etc. So I don't know. I don't know how long being out there for a week lasts in your respiratory system. Are there any doctors in the house that could say? Yeah, and I'd say the Colgate game. Yeah, the Colgate game is the only potential breather. I'm not really up on what the Raiders are doing right now, but man, but also then that becomes the most look. You know, that's an obvious look ahead game, right? And then on top of that, after you do that whole stretch I just said, you know, assuming you make it, you're into the ACC tournament. That's right there, and you got like boom, boom, man. The schedule is just insane. If the Syracuse team is whole, like not injured in one piece come playoffs, like they're going to be as battle tested as one could possibly be. Because my oh my, what a freaking gauntlet of a schedule. Again, link pinned top of the chat if you'd like to join the show. Poll pinned. The poll's not pinned. The poll just is there. The poll is. I didn't pin it. It just is. It floats there at the top. You can vote on our Wildbirds Unlimited Big Air Player of the Game. As you note on the screen right now, you'll see the Vera House is on there. They joined the party today. The Vera House's 36th annual. I believe it's 36. They lost. It's like I got a lot of tabs open. It's 11 o'clock at night almost. Like our first show was 11 o'clock this morning. So there's tabs everywhere. It's their 30. How many? Where's the email with the information? They've had a lot of white ribbon campaigns. It's a lot. It's not on the thing I'm looking at. The point is they've had a lot. There should be a link zooming through here at some point that will allow you a chance to sign up to donate if you'd like. But great to have the Vera House on board for the next month. April is their white ribbon campaign month. As you'll notice, this is March. But here's how we're telling you about it in advance so you can be prepared. Their big breakfast. Fran Brown is he's not the master of ceremonies. He's not the lead speaker. They gave him, he's an honorary something, whatever they called him. He's honorarily there and talking. Fran Brown's doing stuff at the thing. Fran Brown is doing stuff, and we are efforting Fran Brown. We'd like to get Fran on the show to talk about all this, bring it all together into one big ball. So there is that. Shout out to the Vera House being aboard in promotion of their white ribbon campaign. Supporting. They're not supporting. They're supporting the stopping of violence against women. They're not supporting the violence. That would be like directly against what they're trying to do. Honorary chairman. Thank you, Jen. Jen, if you have any further questions, ask Jen. Jen knows all the stuff about this stuff. Yeah, J.R. Doxy, the undisciplined play of this team, it's weird because they go long stretches without it, but then when they pack it in, like they were fine for 3 quarters, fourth quarter, boom, 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 boom. They're just like, just letting it fly. So, yeah, that's something though that bites you in the playoffs. Colgate's 1-6. All right, Colgate stinks this year. And yes, Spallina did not pass somebody tonight in the record, but Hague's Family Real Estate. He passed 2 somebodies, both with the same last name. Joey Spallina started the day with 286 career points. He got an assist in the first half to get to 287 and tie himself with R. Powell and C. Powell. Then he got a goal in the second half to get to 288, passing Ryan and Casey. And Joey is now just 19 points. 19 points behind Mike Powell for the Syracuse Lacrosse all-time scoring record. I don't care, like, Joey's legacy, this, that, whatever. Who's a better player? I've made my thoughts on that clear. Like, I don't know what would have to happen for somebody to come along to make me think they're better than Mike. Hasn't happened yet in the last 20 years. But Joey's a hell of a player, man, and full congratulations to him. Full congratulations to him. Mullen's all over the place. Whatever Mullen was cooking at one point. Mullen was cooking at one point, Mark. Where did he end up? At one point, he was at like 67%, but it slid. Where'd it go? There's the button I'm looking for. Mullen ended up today 14 out of 24. So 14 out of 24 for Mullen today. 58%. Like, it's fine, but it's not elite like he was last year. And you wonder, like, face-off guys, and I always think back to Ben Williams. 2015 Ben Williams was unbelievable. And then he had a bad 3 quarters against Hopkins in the quarterfinal and almost dug it out and won the game. 2016 Ben Williams as a junior was pretty good. 2017 Ben Williams as a senior was good. Because face-off guys get the ever-living crap beat out of them. And, yeah, Drew Angelo is not, man, I wish they had especially with the rules of the face-off and the violation now, it's not even that. I just wish they had another option that you could count on at this point just so you could save Mullen a little. Like, there is so much wear and tear on face-off guys that Syracuse needs Mullen fresh in May. Not now, May. But the schedule is so nuts. You don't have any games in which, like, you necessarily can win the games by letting Drew Angelo or pick another face-off guy learn on the job. So because of the schedule, like, you've worked yourself in this weird spot. Like, you need John Mullen out there to win face-offs and win these games and take crucial face-offs all the time. Like, it is extremely rare for John Mullen to not take a face-off this year when it's like when he's allowed, when he's not in a penalty or coming off a violation or something. Like 2015 Ben Williams was, like, as good as John Mullen has been, 2015 Ben Williams is, that season to me, face-off-wise, might be the best face-off season in Syracuse history, all things considered. They've had a lot of great guys over the years. Chris Searcy, go back, guys before that, whatever. Mullen's great. There have been other guys. Somebody mentioned Danny Brennan, the Panther. But, like, that 2015 season by Ben Williams, like, the new techniques of picking up the back of the stick and all that stuff, like, he was the first guy at Syracuse to really figure it all out. And he was so good in 2015. And he was, strong and fast and the whole thing. And, I mean, and I still say this is the best Syracuse team since that one. Because they had been, you had, the attack was just ridiculous with Kevin Rice and Dylan Donahue and Randy Stotts. You had some really solid options on the midfield line. Like, that team, I was so certain they were winning the national championship this year. So, I don't know. And you wish you had another guy, because Mullen's as good as that. Mullen can do all that stuff. Mullen's better with the ball in his stick than Ben was. Mullen is way better with the ball. Like, Ben Williams, like, was not a goal. Like, Mullen is a legit threat running up the field. Ben scored a goal or two, I think, but it was more just like, well, I better shoot it now or else I'm going to run into the goal. Like, John's a much better stick handler and all that stuff than Ben was, but if he's beat to tar by May, it doesn't matter. That's what, like, over the years, and I hate to give credit to Maryland. Boy, do I hate to give credit to Maryland for anything. Oh, my goodness, I hate to give credit to Maryland for anything. But what Maryland's been so good at over the years is having multiple guys and, rotating during the year, and then you ride the hot hand late, right? Because the guys still have something in the tank. Like, look at what happened to Syracuse 2 years ago when they lost to Denver in the quarterfinals. They had, what was his name? Mason Cone was their faceoff guy, and he came in out of Tufts, and he was really good early, and he was going and going. But then, like, as the season went on, like, who's this John Mullen guy? Who's this freshman? He's pretty good. And then Mullen started taking more and more, and then, it was give and take as the season went along, and then Mullen was the best guy by the end. Like, you worked it through the year. Last year, it was mostly Mullen for the whole season, but it was his first year doing it all. Like, you can do one season like that. Man, it's tough to do multiple seasons like that. Rare, very rare is the face-off guy that can survive the beatings of being the main, like, the only option for multiple years. Like, it is just so wearing. So wearing. Again, link pinned top of the chat if you'd like to join the program tonight. We got Fogo recruiting updates. Foster Wang from California. All right. Yeah, like Angelo, he just doesn't take enough for me to really, I don't have a sense of him yet. Angelo, I just don't have a sense of him, and then he commits the stupid penalties tonight. Yeah, like Mullen is, like, look at the dude. He's a physical freak, but you get the crap beat out of you. Like, physical freaks hurt too when you get knocked all over hell and go. Yeah, Finn was struggling early in the year. Yeah, he's not struggling anymore. Finn's been really good the last, how many games now? Let me pull up Finn Thompson's stats. Thompson with no P. He's a senior, and I'm finally starting to spell his name correctly. Why is there no P in your last name, Finn Thompson? Why? Where is it? All right, let me pull up. So Finn season stats, game by game. Finn's been, honestly, so Finn had a slow start, and he didn't score the opener against BU, and he didn't have a goal against Maryland. Besides that, it was actually less of a slow start than I'd been giving him. He had 4 against St. Joe's, 2 Harvard, 2 Princeton, hat trick at Penn, went 2-2 Hopkins, 3 goals against Air Force, 2-2 today. I like that he's had 4 assists in the last 3 games. He's starting to distribute a little bit here. Finn's playing really well. And now they've made the switch here. It really looks like Michael Leo's going to be on attack and Bear Anderson's going to be at midfield. Gary's been tinkering, or Pat March. Whoever's doing the tinkering has been tinkering. Bear went 2-2 on the midfield line. Leo didn't do a ton on attack today, but he's fine. I'm not worried about him. Did Leo even score today? It doesn't even matter, but Michael Leo had 1 assist today. But, like, he's fine. I'm not worried about that at all. But, like, all right, is it getting settled in? You had McEntee. He was hurt all last year, get the goal. Matt McEntee today. This Kellogg character. I kind of like this Tucker Kellogg fellow. He could sling it. Like, you're starting to get options on the midfield. Wyatt Hoddle's now into the starting lineup at midfield. He had a goal today. He's been a little quieter after the hot start, but we're starting to see a little balance. And here's what's good about this game today. Denver came in with the number 1 scoring defense in the country. Syracuse scored 13, which is right around twice on average what Denver had been giving up. Denver was just at Ohio State on Saturday and lost 6-4. And Syracuse did that. They put up 13 on the number 1 scoring defense in the country with a goalie in Manning who is standing on his ever-loving head. Grayson Manning is really good. Come on, Gary. How'd you miss the goalie out of British Columbia? Come on, Gary. Ridiculous. And they did all of that, Syracuse did, with Joey Spallina going just 1-1. So, zone, packed in defense. Joey just didn't have the ball in his stick a lot today compared to normal. And was only involved in 2 of 13 goals, and Syracuse still scored 13. And if the goalie wasn't playing out of his mind, that's 16-17 easy. So we like that. Because in previous games where Joey didn't do anything, historically or this season, go look at the Princeton game. this season. Joy didn't get anything going, and Syracuse was just stuck. Absolutely stuck. Today, Joy didn't get a whole lot going, and they still put up 13. So that's good. Yeah, 4-2 on the road trip, all told. You'll take it. You don't like... I think Harvard is probably better than we gave him credit for. Harvard's still undefeated. We knew all along Princeton would be good. Like, am I shocked Syracuse lost that game? No, you would have preferred not to lose that game. Yeah, Matt Brown and Gary are on that. Matt Brown, Canadian. Matt Brown, the head coach of Denver, Robert, was billed like Matt Brown is a longtime fixture in the Denver lacrosse scene, pro and college. When Bill Tierney came and took over the Denver job, he hired Matt as the offensive coordinator, and kind of with the tacit assumption that whenever Bill moved on, and Bill was there like a decade, I don't know, he was there a while, that Matt would be the next guy in charge. But Matt's big in Canadian lacrosse with Gary, and obviously Denver's had a joke, but Denver's had a Canadian pipeline for a while. Owen Hiltz was going to Denver before Pat March yanked him away, and then he and Bill Tierney yelled at each other in the exhibition game down at Cortland a few years ago. Like, there's a lot of ties. So, I jest, but Manning's fantastic. He would have been a nice guy to have. But, hey, Jimmy McCool's been awesome this season. Jimmy McCool's been great this season, so we like that. Yeah, no quad 3 or quad 4 losses. No quad 3 or quad 4 games for the most part. So there is that. Yeah, Syracuse's schedule this year is, I've never seen anything quite like it. It's asinine. Like, I don't know what they're doing. Gary's out of his mind for putting this thing together. 6 straight road games. The teams they played, like, they didn't have an easy game during the road trip. They were yelling at Cortland. They played a game at Cortland the fall of 2019, this must have been, where, what were they honoring? It was a game like Bill Tierney was going into the Hall of Fame, maybe because Bill went to Cortland. So Denver flew out and they played Syracuse in like an October exhibition game because, Tierney and Desco, obviously they go way back. Bill, for all Bill's a lunatic during the games, but he's a sweetheart. He's the nicest guy. I love Tierney. He's such a nice guy to talk to. Game going on, stay the hell away from Bill Tierney. Game not going on, what a nice man. Just a wonderful man. I've interviewed him a handful of times for pregame shows and whatnot. Just a lovely man. During the games, though, woo, nutball. But so they played like a legit hard-fought game. I forget who won, or I don't remember. It was close or tied or something. But Pat March had very recently, his first year on the Syracuse staff, like Owen Hiltz was committed to go to Denver. Pat had flipped him to Syracuse. He was the number 2 recruit in the country, and Pat's not afraid to jaw at anybody. I think he said somebody said something to the handshake line that then Pat and Bill were yelling and screaming at each other. It was a whole thing. Yeah. So there's that. But we, it's all in good fun. Yeah, Notre Dame coach Kevin Corrigan, also insane. Oh, man. You did. Yes, I recall, Jen, and part of that is what led to us reaching out and getting in contact with Rebecca Shearoff there and putting this all together. So we're glad we did that. We'll be talking about the Vera House at least for the next month, and have had preliminary conversations about doing things beyond, depending on how this all goes. It's early. What seed do we predict we end up with? Yeah, it's early, Johnny. Haven't played an ACC game yet. It was. Were you at that game, Robert? It was literally. I was not there, but I heard about it after the fact. And again, Kyle told me part of it, so you wonder how much was embellished. It was in like the handshake line at the end of the game. Like the game was over. How many quad 1 wins will we have? I don't know. I can't even begin to guess what seed they'll be right now because they haven't played an ACC game. But they're 8-2 right now. Let's say they go 500 in the ACC, right? Let's split them. You're still getting a good seed. You're still getting a home game. Like, yeah, if you rip these off, you run the ACC. You could be the one. You could be number 1 overall. You could. Do I think that's going to happen? No, but it's in play. Yeah, if you stumble here, you could be on the road in the first round. Like the line is so fine in college lacrosse between being the 9 or the 10 and being on the road and legitimately being a top 4 seed and being at home. Look what happened to Notre Dame a few years ago. The year before they won back-to-back titles. They were the 3rd, 4th in the country, and they missed the tournament. It made 0 sense. Made 0 sense. They played 5 quarters. Yeah, they did weird stuff, and then like it was a happy-go-lucky kind of day, fierce competition, and then they all yelled at each other in the post-game handshake line. I don't know. Virginia's not in great shape right now, Higgs. What's the Ken Palm ranking? Ken Palm rankings are coming out. Yeah, we'll let you know later. And then the net ranking, the quad system. The RPI is actually the RPI, which actually matters. I believe the first RPI is getting released soon-ish. Should be coming out soon. Yeah, Army got cut. Like they need to expand. People keep talking about expanding the NCAA basketball tournament. They don't need to expand the NCAA basketball tournament. Do we really need to see 17 and 16 Auburn in the NCAA basketball tournament? No. They need to expand the NCAA lacrosse tournament. And not by much. By 2. By 4. That's it. Not by much. Just because the talent base, like there's not a lot more teams now. There's very few more teams. Yeah, Syracuse's RPI is going to be crazy with the games they've played and the wins they have. The strength of schedule. Like their metrics, Syracuse's metrics, as long as they keep winning, are going to be magnificent. Because aside from the Colgate game, like they only got hard games. But yeah, we'll see. Wonder how much money will be used for the Lax team next year. I'll be I don't know when a Brian with a Y press conference is going to be. At last check, the last time I checked on it, it had yet to be scheduled. So I'm hoping whenever it is scheduled, and I don't know if that'll be this week or in a few weeks or whatever. I was hoping it would be like tomorrow or Wednesday, and if it is, we'll be here. The hope is to do a show surrounding his press conference whenever it happens, an emergency show if need be. That, obviously a lot of questions will be asked about basketball and this and that or whatever, but from my understanding of how Blair handled business at Toledo, well, he spent $0 on lacrosse at Toledo. They don't have it. But like a lot of the Olympic sports got better under his watch at Toledo, and he was only AD there during the NIL era. Now, does that mean Toledo was shelling out major bucks for NIL for minor sports? Probably not. But Blair's been through the ringer of it at this point to at least understand the deal. And this is where it's going to come down to the other people, to whomever these people are, to explain to him the deal, because he's new here. Like, not just that Syracuse Lacrosse is historically good and all these things and whatever, but that, like, it really is important and matters to the fan base and all that. Yeah, Brian, I can go to these things, but what I've found works best for us is that hopefully timings work out that we can do a show around it, which only that precludes me from going it. Like, I think there's more bang for our buck for all of us if I get to be here and there and you here, and we can discuss live as it is happening, than me being actually in the room, though. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I can attend if I'd like. I get the emails. I know what's up, Brian. I know when things are. I'm hip. I'm hip to the press conference scene. I just like when they're streamed, so I can put them in a box up on the screen here and then talk about them while they're happening, and then we can all discuss and level 5 and the whole thing. But yeah, I'm hoping. I just don't know with the NCAA tournament schedule. Like, there's so many things going on right now in the college sporting world. I don't know when a Brian Blair press conference is going to be forthcoming. Yeah, Army was having a great season, but yeah, JR, like, they put themselves in the position to be snubbed by losing that game, and then the metrics said what they said because there just isn't any wiggle room on a lacrosse bubble. There's no wiggle room on a lacrosse bubble. Yeah, the thing is, Hague's Family Real Estate is that, like, the NCAA guidelines essentially say that the size of your tournament is supposed to be like X% of the amount of teams that play. And I think the number is supposed to be around 25%, whatever, for an NCAA tournament. And the problem with men's lacrosse is there are now way more good teams than there used to be, but there are not way more teams than there used to be. So technically, by the NCAA's rules, like, the tournament is set up as it should be, technically. But it's just lacking in common sense or anything. Plus, like, it's their own rule. Like, just change the rule. Like, look, it doesn't matter. They're acting like, well, it's the rules. There's nothing we can do. It's like, well, it's your rules. And the teams are part of, like, just change the rules and add a couple teams. Like, come on. And I'm not saying add a lot of teams, like, because it's not usually, oh, we need 4 or 5. No, I think, like, literally 2 more teams might be the magic number. 4 at the most. And you'd wish men's lacrosse would do what women's lacrosse has done, and I understand why it hasn't, money and Title IX and the whole thing. Like, it's awesome that Clemson women's lacrosse is a thing now and doing well. It's awesome. I wish there was Clemson men's lacrosse. Like, NC State used to have men's lacrosse. They don't. BC used to have men's lacrosse. They don't. Pitt has women's lacrosse, no men's lacrosse. Virginia Tech has women's lacrosse, no men's lacrosse. When Syracuse was in the Big East, like, Cincinnati had women's lacrosse. Louisville, Big East and ACC has women's lacrosse, no men's lacrosse. Like, it stinks that doesn't exist. You'd love for the ACC specifically to have another team or 2 or 3. Like, BC's had one of the best women's lacrosse teams in the country for the last decade now. They don't play men's lacrosse, and they used to have a men's lacrosse program. You just, you wish it would exist. I get why, Title IX, budget, and all of it. I understand why it doesn't, but you just wish there were a few. You wish there were a few, because it would really, because then it's much easier to expand the tournament and the whole thing. Hashtag grow the game, you know, all the stuff we talk about when it comes to all these things. Yeah, the Patriot wasn't good last year. Like, Army was blasting, and then just at the end. Yeah, Title IX, that's the thing. Like, the lower level teams at it, and that's great for them. It doesn't move the needle, right? Like, who cares? Like, good for them. Like, great, Hampton has lacrosse, or great, Queens, which is in Charlotte, has lacrosse. Like, fantastic. Good for you. But what does that do for Syracuse? That doesn't do anything for Syracuse. It doesn't do anything for the upper echelon of the sport. Like, if Clemson, which spent a lot of money on their lacrosse facility and just got good real quick, like, if Clemson put some money behind it and added men's lacrosse, like, that would be interesting. That would be very interesting. Especially because then the ACC would get back to 6 teams and be able to call themselves a league and have an auto bid again and the whole thing. Not that the ACC champion ever needs an auto bid, but, you know, it's just, then it means you're playing the tournament for a reason other than just as an RPI grab. You know, it would be nice. Looking at UNC State, looking at you, Clemson, Florida State's one of the best club programs in the country for years. Hey, SMU, like, Lax is big in Dallas now, right? Like, you guys got all the money in the world. Put some oil money behind it. Play some Lax. Clemson does have a slide. Clemson could afford it if they wanted to. That's probably more on Clemson's side. That's probably more a Title IX issue. Like, adding a men's lacrosse team, it's really it's almost impossible to do it because of the number count of football for Title IX. It's damn near impossible to do that and remain Title IX compliant if you didn't already have a lacrosse team and then factored around that, especially with those schools that, you know, they have, like, Syracuse doesn't have baseball, right? All of those have baseball. SMU adding lacrosse would be interesting. Like, they got money. You're in Dallas. Like, it used to be back in the day, and we heard a lot about this when Brandon Mullins played at Syracuse, which is now a decade ago, hard to figure. Like, Brandon Mullins, state player of the year in football in Texas, comes to Syracuse to play lacrosse. He's from the Dallas area. Well, it used to be like spring high school football. Spring high school football is big in Texas. I don't mean like games, like spring ball, practice. Well, what's starting to happen, it's not even starting to happen, what has significantly happened in Texas over the last decade is that a lot of the football players in the fall, instead of like, they don't want to practice in the spring. They're in freaking high school. They want to play games. It's not fun. So instead of doing spring football practice, they're still lifting the weights and doing all that, but they're playing lacrosse because it's fun. They're in high school. Let the kids have fun. So there's a lot of people in Texas that are playing lacrosse. SMU could get some legit homegrown talent if they wanted. How about LSU? I suppose LSU could add lacrosse, but who would? That doesn't help the ACC. Just LSU, Clemson, Death Valley Lax rivalries. Lax in the Bayou. Yeah, I don't know. Like Stanford and Cal on the women's side both have lacrosse. On the men's side, Denver's the team furthest west. Denver and Air Force is the westernmost outpost. There are no Division I men's lacrosse teams in the Pacific time zone. 0. When Syracuse played Stanford in women's lacrosse a few weeks ago, Stanford was number 2 in the country. Just saying. Just saying. Yeah, like Florida State, NC State, anybody. Pittsburgh has women's lacrosse. Anybody. We get off on a tangent here, but I just wish one or two. Like BC used to have a men's team. Well, the Wells Crowder story, like the red bandana football game that happens every year, and we hear about it every year, right? And he died in 9/11, and the red bandana and running up the stairs, and it's an emotional story and the whole thing. Well, the reason they tell the story every year during a Boston College football game is because they can't tell it during a Boston College lacrosse game. Wells Crowder was a BC Lax player. There is, I'll say this, Weeze, there is a Pacific Northwest Lax scene, like Ryan Powell, who just got passed on the all-time scoring list by Joey Spallina today, as did Casey. Casey lives out in Denver now. He saw the team over their trip there. Ryan lived in Portland, the Oregon Portland, for many years. And he was kind of like a Pied Piper for the Pacific Northwest lacrosse scene. And I've lost track of NLL teams, but they certainly had them out there when Ryan was out there. NLL teams. Let's see. Who's in the NLL right now? Buffalo, Calgary, Colorado, Georgia, Halifax. Las Vegas has an NLL team? Sure. The Desert Dogs. Oshawa, that's in Ontario. Ottawa, that's in Ontario. Philadelphia, Rochester, San Diego, Saskatchewan, Toronto, and Vancouver. I want to say Portland and Seattle had teams at some point. I could be wrong. I don't know. But like Ryan was out in Portland 15 years ago. It's been a minute, but he was like the guy that was helping out there. And then speaking, we tell about Brandon Mullins. Prior to that, Henry Schoonmaker from Oregon. I think he might be from Lake Oswego. Eric Dungy's around that area. Like Henry Schoonmaker comes this way. Why? Because Ryan Powell was out that way. Like stuff was happening. Like there has been this exchange before, and yeah, the ACC, JR, to your point, the ACC is not the only non-full-time member that gets to be in the ACC is one Notre Dame. They weren't going to do the Hopkins thing or anything like that. I think Lax is decently big out there, Weeze. It's just that like Oregon has women's lacrosse. It's just that they're not playing men's lacrosse because of financial. They're not playing collegiate. Let's put it this way. They're not playing collegiate Division I men's lacrosse. Like very specifically, high school lacrosse, yeah. They're not playing collegiate Division I men's lacrosse because of two things. Cost and Title IX. Or using Title IX as a crutch so they can avoid the cost. Whatever it is. Ben Williams was from Minnesota. Shout out to Ben Williams. So, yeah, I don't know. It's all of those things. And it is what it is. Like, the game is growing. Like, I'll say that, like, Lax is countrywide now for the most part at the youth level. than at the high school level. Like, it's gone most everywhere. But it's because of Title IX and cost, it is stuck at the Division I men's level. Back to our point of why I think they need to expand the tournament. All right, so Lax is growing at the youth level. That means there are more people playing at the youth level. That means there are more good players at the youth level, which means that there is more talent to spread around from the youth level to the college level. Except the funnel is getting wider at the top. It's still tiny at the bottom. So now every team has good players, which is fine and all, but like let's let some of them in the tournament to showcase this talent. Yeah. End rant. Period. On the rant. Period, exclamation point on that. So it's great. Like we've been talking about grow the game, expand the sport, all this for years and years and years. But it remains tough because the PLL, a lot of things are growing the game. A lot of things are, like, I think the PLL is pretty well run, and I kind of, I don't really watch it. Is there lax in Kazakhstan? Yeah, there should always be lax in Kazakhstan, Wheeze. I hear they're playing it right now. Will there be a gate presser tonight? Let's see if anything's up on the old interweb, Big Brian. Brian with an I. We like that. Let's check. Highlights. That's Felicia Leggett-Jack. She's not Gary Gate. That's Reggie Thorpe. He's not Gary Gate. No is I'm sure something probably happened, but no is the short answer. There is nothing up on the web now. At Air Force, Gary had a podium and everything, though just a microphone laid plunked on a table. Yeah, there's nothing available at this second. Should it become available within like the next minute, I'll hit refresh. We'll play it for you. Yeah, like international, like the World Games and all that, like countries like Japan and all these countries are like, they're not necessarily playing it well, but they're giving they're giving it the old college try. But because of the Title IX and cost bottleneck, the most watched version of lacrosse, which is Division I field outdoor lacrosse, the most watched version of lacrosse is not growing in the amount of teams that are playing it. And I think for a lot of people involved in the sport, that's very frustrating because that's the most obvious way to grow the sport. Look at women's lacrosse. Women's lacrosse is growing, and because Title IX and whatever they can add it, all of these teams are adding it. All of these teams are getting involved. Like Florida, Florida's been in it for 20 years now, but they took a program that didn't exist and put it in the Final Four within, I think it was 4 years when they started in the mid-2000s. Boston College, boom, just shoots up. James Madison won a national title about a decade ago. There's a lot of different Northwestern, obviously, they're, the old guard now. But you go back 25 years, that was literally, they started the program and then became the best program in the country within 5 years. It was a cool story, and then became Syracuse's bitter rivals. But all those things happen, and there's, you love to see the growth of the women's game. You just wish the men's game, it used to be there was vaguely equivalent number of men's and women's Division I teams. Now there's 2 to 3 times as many women's Division I teams as there are men, in the tournaments twice the size. I don't know. That's just the way it is. All right, let's. I think it's very important now as we close on 11:30 to stare into the darkness of night in the backyard, because we cannot have a post-game show with late night vibes without staring into the darkness of night in our Wild Birds Unlimited Backyard Bird Camp. Let's get it fired up. Let's look into the darkness of night, because I'm sure it is dark. It's loading. Oh, it's smudged. Let's look into the smudgeness of night, because it's precipitating there. Hey, I hit the button. There we go. The smudgeness of night on our Wild Birds Unlimited Backyard Bird Cam. Is that snow? What is sitting there? Is that a weird whistling noise from outside? Let's listen. What's that noise? Is the snow whistling past the Wild Birds Unlimited Backyard Bird Cam? This is terrible. What are we even looking at? Remember this morning when it was spring? It was 70 degrees this morning. This is what's happening right now in our Wild Birds Unlimited Backyard Bird Camp. I'm glad I can look at it from the cam and not have to go outside until in like 5 minutes I got to take the dog out. Glad I didn't put the winter coat away yet. All right, Wild Birds Unlimited Backyard Bird Cam is up. Let's go to the poll for a Wild Birds Unlimited Big Air Player of the Game. The poll is up. John Mullen was an option today, won 58% of the faceoffs. Luke Roa was a poll option today, 4 goals today. Luke was fantastic. Finn Thompson and Peyton Anderson were both options today. Both of them went 2 goals and 2 assists. And no surprise here, in the first Wild Birds Unlimited Big Air Player of the Game, in which it was just simply 4 players of the sport of the game we are talking about were nominees, it has to be at least in a month. Sadness and Despair have gone, and in their place, today's Wild Birds Unlimited Big Air Player of the Game with 4 goals with 62% of the vote, wrapping up the 6-game road trip with a 13-12 win, is Luke Roa, our Wild Birds Unlimited Big Air Player of the Game. And with that, my good, I'm taking, we love our Wild Birds Unlimited Backyard Bird Cam. We love it. Shout out to Matt at Wild Birds Unlimited. Love the cam. It's fantastic. I don't want to look at that right now. If that was a bird, I'd look at it. I don't want to, what? No. Go. Get off my screen. No. I'm not looking at that. I'm not dealing with it. I don't want to think about it right now. I don't want to think about it right now. And with that, we will accept Weeze's motion to close, because it's 11:30 at night on a Monday. With that, great crowd. I didn't know what kind of crowd we were going to get at this hour on a Monday for a game that hardly any of us could actually watch. Good crowd, good lax conversation for the last hour or so. Upcoming schedule this week. Live in the 315, we'll be back on Thursday. Who's next? Live bracket fill out during the show, men's and women's. We're going to do it. We'll do it live. Live bracket fill outs on the show on Thursday night. We'll have the tournament on. TPS report is Thursday this week, not Wednesday. I need to attend a dress rehearsal of a dance recital on Wednesday for 4-year-olds. So we're going to move that show to Thursday. Then Friday, I will go to the recital after the dress rehearsal. That's how we're going to do that. So 2 shows coming up on Thursday. If there is, if a Brian with a Y Blair press conference gets announced for, say, tomorrow or Wednesday or anything like that in the interim, then we will schedule around that as the need arises. But with that, we'll bang the gavel. That's terrible gavel noise. We will bang the gavel. We will close the show. We will bid you all a good night. And we'll talk to you again as scheduled next live on Thursday. And, of course, see you all in the social media world. Thanks for hanging tonight, everyone.
Thanks for watching the 315 with Brian Higgins. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn your notifications on. We'll see you next time.